Everyone, welcome back to the Sever Chains dev stream. I've got a pile of other Sever Chains devs here with me. Look, we got all kinds of Echo S people in the chat here too. So we're going to be working on some of the Sever Chains side stuff that the Echo S team is going to need in order to bring their voice acting into Legend of Dragoon. This is going to be an interesting one. This is also going to be related to translation support too. So we'll be kind of working on the groundwork for being able to pull all of the text out of the game and retranslate it. Who all do we have here? I think we got Drew, Zycronix, and Elepri. Everybody say hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
All right. Now that that is out of the way, so where should we start? Um, Today has been a horrible. Sorry to hear that, Matthew. Hey, Strife. Hey, Arcrid, Pony Bro, Echo S people. Uprisen, Yuncha, J-Man, Look a Dime, Melbu. We got lots of people in here tonight. Oh, and George. What's up, everybody? Michael says, hi, so is this project really aiming to basically make LoD fully modern? Like, how far are you going? So it is the goal of the Severed Chains platform to basically display, basically present to the player all of the original game assets the best way that we can. Far, far better than the PS1 is able to. Um, so we are doing all kinds of stuff like native rendering. Actually, here, let's show off a little bit of what what we've been doing these days. Working on recommended build 3 right now, which is a major graphics update. So we're basically rather than using the old Legend of Dragoon rendering code, which is sort of the same code that most of the PS1 games used, um, we actually completely rewrote that all from the ground up using OpenGL. So let's pop into the world map here. So anybody who watches this often may notice that this actually looks much worse than it usually does. So I actually added resolution configuration. I think it was yesterday. So what you're seeing here is the original game resolution. So this is 240p. We can pop into the options and very easily adjust this resolution. We've got some presets for 480, 720, 1080, 4K, and 8K, or you can do native, which will just render it at whatever your window size is. So like I could set it to 480, and now we've got, well, twice the resolution, well, technically 4 times, because twice the width and height. Or we could just go to the recommended setting, which is just to set it to native, and then whatever size your window is, it will render natively at that resolution. So right now, this is about 1080p. Not exactly, because there's the title bar and taskbar and stuff, but, close enough. You can jack this up too, if you so choose. If you want to do like super sampling, for example, set it up to 8K. Might lag my GPU a little bit. I'm running integrated, and also I didn't turn off power saver again.
Oh yeah, I don't think I can handle 8K.
It can handle it fine, but probably not while I'm recording.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the frames are dropping.
yeah, no, it's having a rough time. But yeah, anyway, so you can actually go higher than 8K. if you just use native and have an extremely high resolution desktop, it'll just render at whatever the window size is. But yeah, so the native was what we had before, so this was the default. Um, the reason I added these settings is for, for example, for people who don't like the high res, they can go back to the original resolution, which still looks much, much better on severed chains than it does on like an emulator or something. Because, A, we have 60 frames per second, which you're seeing here now. Very, very smooth. And B, we also rewrote all of the animation code too. So, all of the animations are much, much smoother. Everything's more accurate to how they were originally designed. Recently, we also merged in. Yes, my camera did. Now, why?
Well, you're in a really cold region of Mio right now.
Um, I don't know how to. Oh, there we go. Okay, I just had to camera that doesn't exist, and then back. All right, we're back. We also recently merged in the new music engine that Alepri's been working on for a while, so we have much, much higher music quality than retail does too. We have, so one thing very, very important to note is that, you know, all of these assets are still retail. These are the original assets from the PS1 game. They're the same models, animations, textures, etc., etc. Music sounds. We are just presenting those using much, much higher quality algorithms. Yes, one was capable of. What if you have a weird resolution like a curved screen? Well, you can go ultra wide. There, Zachronix, do you have an ultra wide monitor?
Yeah, and it works perfectly fine.
Yeah, there you go. Zachronix has been playing on ultra wide for a while. I know there's another user who was playing on ultra wide as well. That Yeah, sorry to hear that, Matthew. Not for anyone to experience. What's up, Deningrad? Good to see you. There you go. Michael has a ultra wide. So what else did we add? Add. Um, sorry, I'm just drawing a blank here.
You fixed
I
several
did.
bugs.
Yeah, we have
Just
fixed a bunch of various bugs. There's some new stuff rendering that wasn't before, such as I can't remember if the battle transition was in last time, but we've got the battle transition back now. The post-combat screens rendering properly. Zachronix rainbow moded everything. Let's show that off just for fun. So this is all Zachronix. Will this update in real time? It will, right?
You didn't merge the PR yet, so
Oh
no.
shit. All right, never mind. We're not going to show that off now, but it's coming.
The battle UI background still works.
Oh yeah, you updated that.
Oh no, it just always worked.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, we've got rainbow colors for the for all of the UIs coming now. Drew, your audio and Monoxide / Psychronics are on different volumes. Much louder. Drew, you're too loud.
sorry. Is it because I was typing or just my voice?
I think your voice is quite loud.
Yeah, I will lower myself.
Oh, this is Monoxide.
Here, is this better?
Yeah, that sounds better.
Thank you. So since you've got a battle with a berserk mouse, I take it that means the first voice mod will be a mouse screeching. Yes, of course.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Chiseling, maybe, or is that
But
the plague rat? I don't know.
Berserk Mouse is the most important character.
I'm sure there's plenty of even like stock footage, stock audio of mice just making little tiny sounds.
Yeah, so we have Echo S in the chat along with Sunamods. So Sunamods and the Echo S crew are going to be making a fully voiced mod for Separate Chains. And we are going to be working on the groundwork for that here tonight once I'm talking. Yeah, so they've done other games before, Final Fantasy VII, and I believe they're working on some of the other Final Fantasies as well. They can probably talk more on that than I can. All dialogue for the main characters, for sure. I believe they are planning on doing some of the minor characters as well. Although I don't know the exact specifics, I'll defer that to them as well. Michael, is your profile picture the Trillion logo from like 2006? There you go. Voice acting, everything, all of it. Oh, I used to use Trillion too. And you just stuck with it since then. That's dedication. I was making changes. Yeah, we'll be here. Usually stream for a couple hours. What's up, Shoaib? See ya. All right. So, basically, what our plan is here is in order to support various things. So one of the main things that the EchoS team needs to get started is basically a way to identify what text is currently on the screen so that they can play an appropriate sound file, dialogue file. So our ultimate goal is basically well, if we look into a script right now, um, you'll see that all of the dialogue is encoded right into a script. So like, it might say dart, and then, we need to go here and do this. Now that's all well and fine for a user who is playing. They can read that. But it's not so useful for, triggering voice lines and things, especially if we're going to be supporting multiple regions. Because obviously every region is going to have different dialogue. So our goal is to basically pull every single bit of text out of the script files and replace them with some kind of identifier. So it might look like Celeste dot NPC1 dot line 0 or whatever. And then this would be part of a translation file. So we've got a translation file already that's used for things like menus. So then inside of the translation file, we would use this key and say when we want to display this key, we display this text instead. So this would let us have different text for different languages, and it would also be much easier to map these single keys to a single voice clip. Um, Diorama, technically, yes. Whether there will be a modder who will do that,
Me.
I can't say for sure. Yes, Zachronix will probably do that. Zachronix has done a lot of stuff pushing the combat engine much further than anyone ever thought possible, and that was even before Severed Chains.
I
Just
even make it so every single Madness Zero hit counters attacks.
So now with with Severed Chains and it all being open source, we can basically make it do anything we want if somebody has the dedication to do so.
Real quick, Corey. If I'm not mistaken, you may have forgotten to play music, or is that intentional?
So, here we go. Should be coming through now.
Thanks to various generous fan musicians, we are able to stream some of their remixes and covers of the LoD soundtrack on streams like this one.
Yeah, this playlist here is all Lloyd Sorrow's work. Graciously offered to let me use it for the Devstream backing music.
I gotta send you the expanded set if you're interested.
What all is in there?
Extra artists. You can pick
I
and
mean,
choose.
as long as they've granted permission for it, then sure.
Yes.
I am partial to Lloyd's music, though.
It's very, very good. For those of you who don't know, real quick, Lloyd is planning like a full soundtrack remastering. So not just like the most common tracks, but like just about all the ones that are used in the game. And that will eventually be a music mod for SC as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just drag the music player over here real quick. Like this is what's already done. Cool, it won't let me scroll anymore. There we go. This is what's already done, so that's a pretty good chunk of the soundtrack. All right, so I'm thinking we just start out early in the game. Let's head to Celeste and check out the script, see how it looks. Got a should have a Celeste save here somewhere. Oh yes. Looking forward to voicing Haschel. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to all of the voice acting that's coming. I mean, from the trailer that you all put out a while ago, like it's great.
You think when we get to that point, we can have, if they're willing to give early samples, maybe in a future dev stream, we can place a few of them and see them in action.
Yeah, definitely. So we need to first track down the correct script. So we're just gonna pop into the game loop and breakpoint it here. No, he sent me these samples as MP3, but Severed Chains will be able to play higher quality music than that. Someone is asking about the trailer, so let's just bring that up. Just give me 1 second here.
The night of the dragon. The dragoon was born.
I am Lavit Slambert. I am the head of the first Nightwing of the Kingdom of Basil.
I could forgive you if you admit I'm too sexy to ignore and apologize.
The goal of my journey is a serious one.
As the dragoons of yore lead humans to victory, we still have a chance to overcome.
Talking about the enemy based on mere assumptions. Are you going to expose your men to such danger? You are dismissed, Commander of Knights.
Gigantos don't lose twice. Gigantos make payback for hoax.
Once Dart makes up his mind, he never changes it.
I am Dart.
I especially like Kongal. Yeah, lots and lots of people looking forward to that, including me. Yeah, it's gonna be really good.
So you said something about text boxes being switched to having an ID on our LoD server, I think. So that means that if anyone wants to make a voice mod, such as myself, and let's say I'm just changing 1 or 2 lines, I will just find those IDs of the text script and link it that way.
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
All right, so Legend of Dragoon does text in a pretty weird way. Not only do they use a custom encoding for the strings, they also stuff basically all of the dialogue in the game into Dart's script for whatever reason.
He's just that important, apparently.
So, file the script. And now the strings will be in here somewhere. Go. Yeah, this is all the text box information as well. So the real the difficult part here is going to be not doing this by hand. And I mean, doing it by hand would be incredibly difficult as well, but automating this will be much easier. But it will be very tricky because yes, they usually have all of the dialogue in Dart script, but of course sometimes they don't, and that sometimes is going to be the most difficult part. Plus, actually tracking down where this information is, we might be able to actually. We might just be able to scrape instances of script add text box. This big pointer table here is all of the text. And I think, yeah, this is a text box info. Yeah, he had access to the script this whole time, and he just let it happen. Just let it happen. Legend of Dragoon could have played out much differently. Too soon, too soon. It's always too soon. Hey, Icarus, did you figure out what the text box metrics are? Did I figure out what the text box metrics are? I may have figured it out. Store 27, copying words. Take a look at this method. That is, right, okay, so that's just width and height. That's easy enough. We then copy word. Storage parameter. Okay, yeah, so it just sets the next one. So that's just setting 27 and 28, and those are being used as width and height. Alright, that's easy. That's easy. Yeah, Legend of Dragoon engine is very custom, and there are parts of it that are very janky. Actually, technically,
I would rephrase it.
Go ahead.
I would rephrase it to there are parts that are not very janky.
Yeah, the occasional part. Actually, technically, it's more like three engines. Because each game state is actually like a completely separate engine. And they're not loaded at the same time or anything. Like when you go to the world map, um, it's like a completely different game engine than submaps, which is completely different than combat. All in all, there was something like 11 or 12 different model renderers, like 3D model renderers for the exact same type of 3D model. Um, Basically just copy and pasted. A couple of them had like 1 or 2 line changes. And I just collapsed those into one single renderer because that's what a sane person would do. I, I don't know. Yeah, duct tape and dreams is goddamn right. The entire PS1 is held together with duct tape and dreams. If that. The BIOS is barely held together at all. I had to reverse engineer that and port it as well, and yeah, it was bad. I found like between LoD and the PS1 BIOS and kernel, I probably found like 6 or 7 like most likely exploitable buffer overflows and underflows and stuff. And it's just not great. It's a miracle that the not only the PS1 BIOS runs, but the game itself. There's so many crazy bugs in the Legend of Dragoon code, and most of it is just so broken that it like accidentally fixes itself. Things like, simple stuff like null pointers, but other parts of the code have actually written data to memory address 0 because there was a null pointer there too, and that data just happens to be compatible with what they're trying to do in this other spot. Various scripts. The weird plant in the nest of dragon. Its script actually jumps so far out of bounds of its own script that it ends up jumping into a different script, like completely unrelated. And due to the way that Legend of Dragoon's files are laid out on the CD-ROM, it actually jumps into another script into the middle of a method that just happens to not interfere with the code that's actually supposed to be running, and then returns. So it jumps back to where it was before and just carries on like nothing happened.
Speaking of that, it's not just like the PlayStation 1. Every single console in this era was like this.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I have a friend who did a bit of Game Boy Advanced modding, and I've heard some stories.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually looked into the Game Boy Advance a bit because considering once Severed Chains is done, considering reverse engineering and porting Golden Sun to PC as well. And it is not great. Not only that, but the Game Boy Advance uses ARM architecture, whereas the PS1 uses MIPS, and ARM is so much worse to work with than MIPS assembly. It's gonna be an uphill battle if that's what I go with next, but I mean, when I came into, doing Legend of Dragoon and Severed Chains, I didn't know anything about assembly at all. I didn't know anything about the PS1 architecture or reverse engineering or anything like that, and, made it work. So, definitely doable. Alright, so... Yes, and I accidentally reverse engineered half of Mega Man Legends at 1.2. I don't want to talk about it. I'm just joking. I do want to talk about it. Well, I don't not want to talk. So briefly back on topic. How do we want to do this?
Should we iterate through all the map IDs and get script 0? Because that's always Dart, and see what that does?
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm
We should,
thinking.
I think we should just, to be safe, try to propagate through all of the scripts.
So the problem is, every script that we look at, we need to disassemble. And that may add a significant amount of time to the unpack process.
Can we
With-
just look at the address for the script at textbox? We could just very quickly scan it for the integer, and then if it's not there, just skip the file altogether.
The problem is false positives. Well, I guess I see what you mean.
It's not about like having it's just like filter out the most possible files that can't be it.
Yeah, I get what you mean now. I think we just try it, disassembling everything, and you know, there's no point in optimizing before we actually see if it's slow, right? Don't know much about how this works yet, but wondering if models can be added to this, like a redesign of character, or can we only remask texture and enhance details? Well, give me one moment.
Do you actually want to look at the PR I just did? Because that kinda does it.
So here is an example of a replacement model for Dart. This is something that Doom Metal made with a sort of like Ice Blade sword. He also made a candy cane sword for Dart as well. So this is an entirely replaced model. We have no limitations on what can and can't go in. You could import a 100,000 vertex model if you really wanted to. It wouldn't render very quickly, but you know, you could. There's nothing stopping you from doing that. At the moment, they have to be in the PS1 format, which is TMD. He has a tool that can convert back and forth between the two. Eventually, we're just going to support DAE models, sort of like the modern standard. Yeah, Icarus. This was a while ago. This was actually like a Christmas present that he made for Drew and I. He made me this one, and then he made Drew the candy cane one. I wonder if I have that candy cane handy. That was pretty good too. Give me one sec. I'm just gonna take a quick look here. Yeah, I'm not seeing any hits for candy cane in the Discord history. If Drew is around, Drew might be able to share it, but yeah, we'll see. Yeah, 20 years time, look back on current methods and ask why. Code has come a long way since now. There's a lot of newer methodologies, but game development in particular is an awful, awful industry. There's just insane, unmanageable deadlines and crunch time and stuff, and just game code is just universally bad because there's no other option. And that's not to say that the game developers themselves are bad at coding or anything. It is entirely the publisher's faults and people controlling the deadlines. These people would definitely write better code if given the opportunity, but that's kind of the state of the industry.
Yeah, and it kind of ties into the engines themselves. It's at the point where the engines are so complicated that you would actually need a PhD to understand what's going on in them.
Yeah,
And
that
it's just not feasible for regular devs. They just can't have that knowledge. It's not humanly possible.
yeah, like a modern rendering pipeline, like through Unreal Engine or any of the other game engines, is so unbelievably complicated. Um, like one thing I read recently was like a full paper and talk on the newest Doom rendering pipeline and some of the tricks and stuff that they did to get it to render everything that it does at like a reasonable frame rate. And it's so like unbelievably complicated that no one person could ever like fully understand the pipeline from start to end. Like you've got your like specialization like right there in the middle, and then somebody else has their specialization here, and all of that knowledge of these like ultra specialized engineers who've been doing this for a very very long time, and like one developer could never like fully understand from start to end. Dar's given a candy cane. Can we give Kongo a Christmas tree as a joke weapon? I mean, yes, and I welcome you to do that. But you also my only stipulation is that you need to make him a Christmas themed bikini. That's the only stipulation. And that's a hard requirement. Kind of surprised that I don't have any cats climbing all over me right now. I haven't seen any of them in a while. Strider was sitting beside me on his donut. He has a literal donut that he sleeps on, and if it's not on the chair beside me, he gets very upset. Make every smack have a jingle sound effect play. Yes, obviously. I mean, Michael, he's basically already in a bikini, so I'm not sorry. Yeah, we're making a Congo dating sim.
I am seeing one possible thing that might be a little annoying in regards to the text boxes.
What's that?
Since the ID is passed from the script variables, you might need to kind of traverse the script in order to find the actual ID that's being copied in the script to get like the proper to point the text boxes to it, right? Or wait, does the ID just point to the pointer table that's
Yeah, it just points to the table.
just an index into a pointer table?
Yep.
Oh, then it's completely fine.
Yeah, that shouldn't be an issue. It might be nice to work with the abstract syntax too. Sure.
I'm thinking to start with, we might just want to put it into like a map ID slash index of dialogue.
Yeah, Michael, there's quite a bit of the scripts that aren't actually used, which is sort of a thorn in our side for decompiling them. The old decompiler, like the first version of it that I wrote, basically it's just started from the very top of the script, and it worked its way down, decompiling line by line by line. Now the problem with that is that interspersed inside of script code, there will be random data. Things like text or text box sizes or damage tables, whatever. Whatever data that they need in the script, basically, just like variables and things like that. And the decompiler would try and decompile those as if they were code, which, A, is wrong, and B, it can cause the decompiler to get misaligned because commands aren't just like one line, they are a header and then some number of parameters that can be one or more words each. So you'd end up getting garbage and stuff like that, and there was no way that we'd be able to recompile those because there was so much garbage in them. So I wrote a new, much more intelligent decompiler that basically starts at the entry points of the script, and it actually follows the branches. So every time there's an if statement, it will branch into, or it'll follow things like jumps, go subs, forks, etc., etc. So that way we're guaranteed to know that whatever it's decompiling is actually code. However, that will leave anything in the script that the branches didn't touch as decompiled because there's no way for the compiler to know that it is code. For example, right here, I can tell that this is actually like script code that was never actually encountered by the decompiler. So there are a few. We're still working on the decompiler, so every once in a while there is code that's used that it doesn't actually find. But most of the time it's just unused stuff, which could be really anything. On the last stream that we did 2 weeks ago, we actually re-enabled some unused moves for a couple of bosses. We gave Kamui a sort of like blue spear thing attack that was for some reason removed in the US release. It is there in other releases, but for some reason they removed it in the US. So we re-enabled that code. We also gave we gave Zeeg his explosion attack, which is in the code, and there's actually voice lines recorded for it, animations and everything. But it was actually cut from the game. So we restored that as well. There may or may not be many other things like that. It's not the first it's not the first cut stuff that we found. It most likely won't be the last. We have showed off a lot of stuff like that on various dev streams. We've found like areas that are blocked off that you can actually walk into if you remove the blockers. I can never get these names straight. It's either Fueno or Fernie, city where you rendezvous with the Queen Fury after falling into the ocean. There's like one building in there that's like a spiral staircase up to the top, and that's you normally can't get in there at all. But yeah, we unblocked that. We found some interesting stuff like outside of Helena Prison. Um, I actually suspect that at one point Dart was supposed to climb up a tree and jump into the cart and then sneak into Helena that way rather than just kind of like hiding around the side of the cart. Because the tree right at the start of the map, like on the path that winds its way over to Helena, there's actually collision on the tree and you can walk up it. Um, but there's just a blocker at the bottom. Just all kinds of stuff like that. Just, tons of weird bits of collision geometry, unused files. Um, there is a secret shortcut in the Black Castle. Yeah, there's a wall that's actually just a texture, and there's a door that takes you right into the throne room there. And that's blocked off. You can't go through there in game, but if you remove the blocker, you can walk straight into the throne room, completely bypassing Kongal and everything. I've even found some unused like screen transition effects and stuff like that. One of them kind of looks like the screen is split into like a bunch of squares everywhere, and it kind of looks like a bunch of like eyes opening as it transitions, rather than just like the basic like fade to black or fade to white. Just all kinds of interesting stuff like that.
Yeah, and also for like submaps, all of the scripts were heavily templated. They were copying stuff a lot, so there might be a bunch of code from other instances of the same NPC in all of the other scripts. For example, when I was looking into Helena Wardens, they all seem to have the code for them patrolling, even though it's just flat sprites that don't use anything. Like it's left over. And same goes with like branches. If you have a map that has like a multiple states, for example, you visit the city first time and it has some NPCs, and when you come for the second or third time, something changes there, it will have a lot of conditional branches that are not used. But they have the entire structure set up for it. So there's probably gonna be a lot of this unused code in the scripts that's like not even supposed to be used for this specific instance. It's just used elsewhere.
Yeah.
Since the scripts are so small, like they didn't really care about wasting memory here.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see what we end up finding. And for anybody who's interested in seeing that stuff, we have done actually, we have shown off a lot of that stuff on previous streams. Alright, so we need a way to identify the submap scripts. I want to say we should just be able to check the path.
I'm pretty sure it's gonna be some index offset, and then you can just multiply by 3. Because it's gonna be one the models textures, one the scripts, and one the backgrounds and stuff.
Do a regular expression here. let's say we have X. Can't remember if these have a lead slash or not. I want to say they do. Dragon dot in slash.
I don't think they do.
I think that should do it. I'm not typing. Regular expression, not typing. Add.
You're missing a first plus after the first number.
No, that's fine. It's only going to be 1 to 4.
Oh, right.
Alright, so that works. And yeah, we'll anchor it as well, just for good measure. So we'll pass
And there's no leading slash, by the way.
Okay, there's no leading slash. I guess we could probably need to pull these into let's say well, actually no, we don't care about that one. We care about the rector. X. I need to out here. Full mat. Got int, that's guaranteed int because of the regular expression. Yeah, Matthew, we've actually found some interesting issues with clipping in various parts of the game. There is actually multiple clipping issues in Kazas. Yeah, in Kazas, like inside of the area with the first ladder going down, or maybe it's the second ladder going down. There's actually a spot, and you can do this even. I don't think you can do it on the original PS1 version, or it's never been proven that you can do it on the original PS1 version. But on the PS2 emulation, like running the original game on the PS2, or running it in emulation or on the PS4 and 5, there's a specific wall, and if you hit it in just the right way, you'll actually warp like way over down into the corner and go down the ladder automatically. There's also a specific corner that we found outside in that area, and if you get into it just right, you will teleport from the bottom of Kazas all the way up to the top. And the reason that happens is because when Legend of Dragoon is checking your collision, it actually doesn't check your Y value, which is your up and down value. So Kazas, as you may remember, is a very vertical area. Lots of ladders, lots of staircases. So trying to get this to come through on camera is not easy. So they've got collision down here, and then they've got collision up here, but they kind of overlap a little bit. And since Legend of Dragoon doesn't check how high you are, you can be standing on this lower one and go to the very edge, like over here, and actually snap up to the top. Because as far as the collision code is concerned, there's actually no height there at all.
Doesn't that also interact with the code for snapping to the ground when you're going up and down slopes that we looked into?
Yeah, it's all incredibly janky.
Because like the PS1 doesn't actually do 3D,
Right.
so they do a little thing where if you're moving left and right and you're on a slope, you're actually still like you're just moving into the air or into the ground, and it's doing a calculation which is modifying your height all the time.
Yeah, that's not necessarily an issue
And,
with the PS1 not doing 3D, because I mean, like, all of the 3D is technically handled in code, and then transformed into 2D. It's just like a very, very simplistic collision system that they did for Legend of Dragoon.
In this collision system, if you ever interact with like if you go from one collision area to another, it will always snap your Y coordinate no matter what, so might be possible somewhere in Helena as well, in theory.
Yeah, most likely. So it's every third file, so we can just do return directory index mod 3 row. Mrs. Monoxide is at work right now, unfortunately. So the only hands that I have are mine and the cats, who are still conspicuously missing, which is somewhat concerning because they're probably getting into something. Let's see if I can summon any of them. Strider! Oh, here comes Aurelia. Come here. Come here. Aurelia is weird about being held, so she probably won't stay long. But everyone is here now. Yeah, she wants to go. I am picking stuff everywhere. Come here, Freya. Freya doesn't really understand how to be held. She's fine with it if you get her into a certain position, but she is also kind of weird about it sometimes. Say hi to everybody. Yes, Aurelia has exactly 0 brain cells. Now, let's see if I can get Strider up here. It's the size of a dump truck. Here, buddy. Oh. Oh, yeah. There we go. Strider is the size and weight of the other 2 cats combined. And he drools as soon as he starts purring, so I am already getting wet. There you go, alright. He is gonna be probably a permanent fixture for the rest of the stream unless he wants to jump onto his donut. Shall see. Yes, Strider is an absolute unit. He is humongous. He's almost 20 pounds, and it's only partially because he's a little chunky. He is just a very, very large cat. Alright. So... Oh yeah, he wants onto his donut. See if I can get this. There you go. Yes, that's a great idea. He is also an extremely vocal cat, so... Alright, let's see if this is actually targeting the right files. We're in Dragon 21.
Entirely sure if the module is gonna work because there's sometimes a weird offset.
It should. The index is always the same. Breakpoint. Yep, so it is doing the correct stuff. Of course, it's all async, so we're out of order, but that is expected. So yeah, that is working exactly as I wanted it to. Now I think we also want to ignore the first file. I think the first file should be the submap controller script. I don't know if there's any scripts or any text in that or not. So maybe we'll just probably wouldn't hurt. Catcher and got here rather than typing it on. This still sketchy, like. Where how do I want to do this in a here? In yeah, I think so, Deningrad. If anyone new in the chat likes what we are doing here, and would be interesting in supporting me and my ongoing projects. As you can see at the top of the screen in the bottom left-hand corner, I do have a Ko-fi page where you can either send one-off donations or subscribe monthly for various perks. Any amount goes directly towards basically funding the development of separate chains. The more money I bring in from Ko-fi, the more time that I can spend on it in my free time, rather than working on other contracts and stuff. How dare you, Chocolate? Right. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We usually do this every week. I've had a really, really busy past couple of months, so I do appreciate every one of you, sticking around and putting up with me not doing many dev streams lately. I've been working on remodeling my kitchen, and I prefer to do a lot of the work myself. So it's been a very, very busy time for me, and I'm hoping that we'll be getting back to doing these every week instead of skipping 1, 2 all the time. I'm pretty much done now. We've been basically replacing the plumbing and the kitchen cabinets and countertops and stuff, and yeah, it's been a pretty big job. I ended up having to actually, I don't know if anybody actually cares about this, but I ended up having to cut out a fairly significant chunk of my subfloor to replace a good amount of the plumbing, and then had to rebuild all that, which added a lot of time to the timeline that I didn't really expect. So yeah, it's been a thing. 60-year-old copper plumbing that was all homemade. Been a time. So what are we doing here? Getting sidetracked. So we need to disassemble the script.
I mean, in terms of old plumbing, if you have like the copper one and it's 40 years old, you have a lot of delicious lead solder in there.
Yep. Yeah, plumbing is my absolute least favorite thing. Well, it's my second least favorite thing, only behind cutting a gaping hole in my floor. That is my least favorite thing. Plumbing is just so gross, like... Eh. Yeah, I appreciate the reminder, Deningrad. Also, the old cabinets were all like stick built in situ, like they were not pre-assembled, and they were solid. Like, as much as they were parts of them were sort of falling apart and stuff, the tracks were all coming out of the drawers and they were not in great shape, but God, the frame of those things was solid. And it took a sledgehammer to get it out. Ryder has settled onto his donut and is happy now. So now we have our, well, it's not so much of an abstract syntax tree as it is just a flat list, but have all the bits. Let's just kind of come in here and take a look at one of them. What file is this? 11. Yeah, this is basically our assembly. It's actually a very small one. Let's skip that and maybe it. Also very small. That is good. Okay, what I'm going to, if node dot full path dot end with /1, then we will do that. This should be Dart's script. Yeah, there we go. 590. That's a lot more reason. Set this all. Okay, so putting actual ops down here. Not sure if the strings get read yet. Downloading. Yes, so it should have this. And scripts dot not is empty. Yeah, the disassembly for a load of the failing. Let's real quick just add error handling transformer calls. Touch any exception. Icarus, it shouldn't be picking up any merges because we are doing the regular expression. Fails to. Interesting. Why are we not getting any hit there? I need to plug this in. Be able to make better sense out of the errors. So 21/6/9. Take a look at that from a unpack. Oh, okay. We are actually in an incorrect file here. Okay, hold on. What's going on? Okay, so script. No, this is a script. It just only has entry points. Looks of it. Hundred. Not very easy reading these as hex chat. And this, okay, this is actually a string here. That is definitely a script. And it, why are we getting rid of text? Are you sure these aren't scripts? Because they have strings in them. These are definitely strings. Being string terminators. Right, the last file is the submap file. Forgot about that. So that is as easy as saying if node.data. size is less or equal to 8. Hey Punisher, so I have a link in the bottom left-hand corner of the screen, co-fi.com/monoxide. I will also link it in the chat. And there's also the option of super chats. However, we get a smaller cut of that than if you donate through Ko-fi. YouTube takes a little bit off the top, and by a little I mean a fair bit. Seems that all of those files that all seem to be failing in the same way. Those maps would be the debug room, I believe. Maybe they just have a bunch of janky scripts in them? That's certainly possible. In your experience so far, Icarus, is it normal for this many of the submap scripts to be failing to decompile? Yeah, that's quite a simple script, for sure. There is no timeline for that, Angelo. It's just one of those things, you know, it will be finished when all of the people doing it you know, are able to get their parts finished up. You know, a lot of this work happens in our free time, so it happens when it happens. So that's 21-6, Icarus. So that one didn't fail. Let's just take a closer look at 5. So first entry point here is 8. RB3 is the same deal. You know, we're working on it now, and it will be done probably within a couple of months. But again, we make no guarantee on any of that. It all depends on how much free time we end up getting. Things are going pretty well right now, so you know, we'll see. I think the script might just be broken. This should be the command header. The op index is the low byte. Parameter count is the next byte. Okay, so no, that should be fine. That's one parameter, one parameter. We have a no op, and then 40 with one parameter, and then op 58. Probably consume. Yeah, well, my IRL RNG is basically how many people end up donating to my Ko-fi, so you know what to do. Is this playlist online somewhere? Let me ping, Lloyd and see if they're around.
Oh, by the way, it's quite common for the scripts to have 3 entry points that are like one is consume, one is rewind, and one is consume. So I'm assuming that's what that is.
Yeah, it looks like it, because there is 2 entry points there. And this is the second one here. And that is probably the consume opcode. Eight. '88, which is Child. Child. Is it working a child? What is 38? Execute subfunction, it would be subfunction 6F and A. 111? 111, which is, of course, not loaded. An unknown function. Six, which is hiding an ob. Yeah, so this script seems fine. I'm not seeing anything at all wrong with it. Let's try copying this to the script assembler and see what happens.
Which unknown function was that?
It's just something for the map object movement. Whoops.
I believe there was 800DF530 that was very commonly used in scripts.
So that actually just decompiled fine there. And that was back to this file. So what is happening? What is going wrong? I'm gonna put a breakpoint here. This is gonna slow things down drastically. That's fine. Node dot full path that ends with /6/5. Quotes around that. And it failed to trigger the breakpoint. Currency. This. Back in this. Hold on, that just did. Oh, of course. It's because the disassembler is not thread safe. Yeah, that's the problem. That's a pretty easy problem to fix. That. And now, hopefully, this will work. Should get something a lot more reasonable here now. And by reasonable, I mean not completely broken. Yeah, so it's actually decompiling everything properly now. That was, in fact, the issue. And we should have the strings here too. Yeah, this will tell us where the strings are. Yeah, so that is much that's much better. That's actually working now. Let's see if there are actually. Yeah, so there are still quite a few issues with the decompilation. So we may or may not need to fix these issues before this is possible. Yes, progress. So you can just kind of pretend this is fine for now, and see if we can get any kind of output here. I wonder if there are any strings in any of these files that aren't for text box dialogue. I imagine probably not. Probably not. Let's actually dig into the script a little bit and see what we can find. We got our string info here. We got the start and the maximum length that this string can be. I think if we just do node.data dot how do we get an amount of bytes? Did I not add a method for that? Alright, well, we will just splice scripts dot string dot oh, this is a hash step, so not that. Get the first one, get dot start. Length. That should give us a data that just contains that string. And then we'll get bytes. Oh, that's actually trying to use LoD string of the script disassembler, which is not what I want. String. Oh, this is gonna be very messy. I must have a method to do this here somewhere. Maybe an IO helper. Well, I've got inst to bytes, which is the exact opposite of what I need. Okay, we're gonna have to a little bit. No, I think we just need an int array. The length divided by 4. And then LoD string gonna work? That is the question. Not even a little bit. We get from data. There is some kind of string stuff in here. It's possible this offset is just not the correct thing here. Let's take a look at how the cursor actually handles that. Leaders. Oh, it should have actually backfilled all those anyway, so... Entry. God damn it, I closed. Oh my god, I just closed it again. I wish escape did not close this frigging window. You missed me accidentally closing this window full of code that I typed twice. So there's that. Gonna try this for a third time. Alright, so there we go. We do actually have a string here. This must be the text test that is present in the debug room that we found in the secret debug menu. Yeah, it's true. I'm a silly goober. I'll own up to it. They're not all JP characters, but yeah, this is the text test that exists in the debug menu. Okay, so we can use this to pull out strings, which is obviously a very good sign. So, we will entry. Of pop. So we're looking for calls, and yes, this should be deterministic. And op.param equals, what was it that we were looking for? Cryptad text box, need to look up what its op number is. 200. enough. Header param. So this will give us that particular method, and then it's going to be parameter number 0, 1, 2, 4, 5. I don't know. Not gonna. Okay, so the parameters are gonna follow this. So we will need to replace this with regular for loop because we're gonna need to use index stuff. Oh. String table equals dot entry I plus, what was that again? It's gonna be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6 plus 7. And then let's see what we can do with the string table. We have a resolved value. Shouldn't have a resolved value. Oh, we need to advance a variable number of ops because ops can be a variable length. Yes, thank you. Drew did the thumbnail, but anyway, here's Wonderwall was my idea. We need to do an inner loop here. Param index equals 0. Index. There's 7 parameters. I guess we want to skip over the first 6. Then we will just do I and then type dot, yeah, so width is going to be what we want here. This is just going to be I plus equals parameter dot type dot width. All right, everybody in the chat, what would the main party's favorite songs be? Go. I want you to think long and hard about this, but not too long. And the first person to say anything by Imagine Dragoons is gonna get banned. Yes, Kongo would definitely like Nirvana. Boulevard of Broken Dreams, good choice. Shauna would like K-pop, probably. Hash will make a man out of you. Oh, that's good. That's good. I like that one. Well, what would Miranda listen to? Come on. Oh yeah, Hashel would definitely listen to Eye of the Tiger. Like non-stop on loop forever. Omni sweep to Eye of the Tiger. Dart through the fire and flames. Yes. The Slipknot. Yeah, I don't know. I think Miranda could go either way. But no matter which way she goes, she'd be stuck up about it. She'd be that kind of metalhead. Absolutely. Don't feel too bad, Chocolate. I couldn't come up with much either. Or who, Barbie Girl. Pirates of the Caribbean theme song. Yeah, nobody mentioned Lavitz or Albert. Come on. Come on, people. Now, would they listen to the same thing because they're buddies, or do you think they have very different tastes? Yeah, who's gonna make this mod? Come on. Who is Lavitz? Albert, a pop punk fan. All right, let's get some secondary characters going on. What would Nello listen to? What would Pelpy listen to? What would Melbu listen to? Albert probably listens to the Bale theme on repeat. Convinced we only hear it because the royal musician isn't allowed to stop. I could see that. Malibu definitely K-pop. That makes sense since he is Kill God villain. Green Day, yes. Malibu listens to baby metal. You know what? I'll allow it. I will allow that. Yeah, I bet Baby Metal would be a pretty wild show. I haven't been to a show in a while. What was the last one that I went to? The last show that I went to was either After the Burial or AFI. Oh, looks like he'd be a Killswitch Engage fan. Yeah, he looks pretty moody. I almost wore an AFI shirt for the stream, but it has a hole in it, unfortunately. After the Burial is my favorite band. I've seen them live, I think, 3 times. I hung out with Anthony for a little while when I was at the Corpse tour, I want to say in 2010. Animal Corpse type from Happy. We have had some very varying suggestions for Mappy so far. Yeah, Faust is definitely gonna have something weird on, like past the aux cable meme. How about Mr. Maggie? Mr. Maggie before and after transforming into a dog. The twofer. There are more. Okay, here is something actually. This is gonna sound ridiculous, but it's true. The lead singer um of the group that sang "Who Let the Dogs Out" is actually going to school uh in the city in the capital city of my province, which is not a large place. And that sounds completely made up, but it is, for some reason, true. Mappy would definitely be definitely be an edge lord. Who else, chat? Who else is there? Who deserves a theme song? What kind of cracked out music would Kathy be listening to? And Fester, for that matter. The copy do listen to me without her talking yet. What's up, Ninchi? We are assigning music to every character in the game right now, so you came just in time. Honestly, Leningrad, I could see Kongal headbanging to classical. Dark Orchestra for Dole, that's a good one. All right, we have a string. It's took a bit of a mess, but we have been able to parse out the script and pull a string out. Yep, this is conversation between Dart and Lavitz in Vale. This must be either somebody in the bar or what's his name? Trippy. Yeah, no, Dole would definitely listen to goth music, but not actually like it. He would just listen to it because he thinks that that would make people think that he's. Right, so that is actually working. Oh, the background music, yeah, these are all really good. This is a soundtrack remaster that Lloyd Sorrow has been working on for a while. Starting to get sleepy. Strider is still sleeping peacefully on his donut. I can get him right here. Be a little too dark. Just let me get. That is not helping at all. Oh, big yawn. Yeah, you can kind of. Yep. Which one is playing? Oh, it's Leningrad. Of course it suits you. Yeah, Strider is a big EP boy kitten. Purring and drooling away. That's his life. Eat, sleep, purr, drool. Honestly, not a bad life. So, if I was to run this now, we should get a big dump of just all kinds of strings in the console here. We didn't get one because I didn't delete this, but now we are going to get a big dump of strings. Phrasing. Yeah, so, yep, strings. I don't think I've ever seen this line before. Talking about either a road called Marsa or a road to a town called Marsa, maybe. Lots of people saying the same thing. Guess this must be in Hoax. I'm thinking this must be Hoax or something because it's a bunch of people saying they want to go to Lohan. Well, look at Icarus coming in with the knowledge. The hot fight. Why these are all duplicated. I did not know that either, Psychronics. there's so much dialogue in this game, and you know it varies if you like go back to places like later on in the game. It's so hard to actually like read through everything. You'd have to spend a lot of time backtracking. I like this. Rose, 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 Rose. Silver Dragon Inn for your relaxation? Where in the heck is that? Yeah, I mean, I like do go out of my way to make sure to try and talk to everybody, but there's just so much and it's so easy to miss some of it because you have to go like you have to backtrack super far to see everything. All right, chat. Well, we have this dumping at least some of the strings of the game. The next step will be probably actually like modifying these scripts to replace these with like an identifier. Maybe use like the submap ID and then the script number and then the, I guess, table index or something. But I think this is where we will call it for tonight. I'll probably do some more work on this off stream and see if we can't get something actually going. Be very, very cool once we actually get this working and the EchoS people can start actually getting voice lines in the game. But yeah, so if you enjoy what we're doing here, make sure you like the video, subscribe, and if you want to support me and my projects directly, send me a donation at my Ko-fi account. In the corner of the screen here, there is a link. You can send one-off donations, or you can subscribe monthly for various perks, and there will be a link to that in the chat as well. Thanks to everybody who tuned in here tonight. We do this usually every week. We were a bit spotty for a little while because I was busy, but things are calming down now, and it's looking pretty good for the coming months. Should be doing these every week. Thanks to everybody who did tune in, and hope to see you next time. Good night, everyone.